Imagine you are Gaius, just Gaius, for you have no great family name. You are 27 years old. You live in a cramped insula near the Subura, Rome's bustling, dirty neighborhood where tradesmen, bakers, prostitutes, philosophers, thieves, and slaves breathe the same dust. Your father was a cobbler, now dead of fever. Your mother weeps each night over the debts he left behind. You have a sister who sells bread near the Tiber. You are neither rich nor powerful, but you are a Roman, and that alone, you were taught since boyhood, is worth more than gold. It is the Ides of March, the 15th day. The air feels wrong, restless. Dawn breaks over the 7 hills like blood spilled across marble. You feel it the moment you wake, a tightness in your chest that no prayers to Vesta can loosen. But you do not speak it aloud. You dress in your simple tunic, worn at the hem, and lace your sandals with fingers trembling from the cold. Outside, the city stirs. Goats bleat, traders shout, wagons creak along stone streets that have seen centuries pass beneath them. You are hungry, but there is no time for breakfast. You are headed for the theater of Pompey, where the Senate meets today. It is rumored that Caesar will speak. You have never heard him speak inside the Curia before. He is the consul, the dictator, perpetuo, the man who has given bread to the hungry, land to the poor, laws to the masses, and fear to the Senate. He is your hero, your hope. You want to see him stand among the marble statues and remind these old men in their bleached togas who truly owns Rome now? You remember the first time you saw him? Not on a coin. It's not from the stories told in taverns by half-drunk soldiers, but in the flesh. It was at the Forum 2 years ago. He rode in a chariot, a crown of laurel on his head. His face was pale and lined, yet his eyes gleamed with something you could not name. Hunger that swallowed the whole republic and called it destiny. Men whispered tyrant behind their hands. Others shouted father of the people from rooftops. You joined the cheers. How could you mad? Caesar was the man who fed you when grain grew scarce, the man who kept the mob from tearing itself apart when the Senate squabbled like crows over a carcass. Yet you heard things too. How he brushed aside the Senate's veto, how he minted coins with his own face. The first Roman to do so. How he accepted titles fit for a king when Romans swore there would never be a king again. Your mother says he is dangerous. No one man should hold so much power. But you see what she does not. The world beyond Rome's walls is raw and waiting to devour you. Without Caesar, who would shield you from the chaos? The senators? Those men grow fat on your hunger and call it order. No, better a single tyrant than 100 wolves in togas. The street is thick with bodies. All eyes turn toward the portico of the theater of Pompey. Marble steps climb to a great hall where the Senate meets today. Because the Curia Julia is still under construction, you push through the crowd, feet scraping over mosaics stained with centuries of spilled wine and blood. Have you seen him yet? Asks a butcher's boy at your side. His hands are red to the wrists. He smells of lard and sweat. Not yet, you say. You wonder if you look as pale as he does, eyes wide, mouth dry.
Oh.
The air smells wrong. Incense, sweat, and something metallic like fear given shape. Behind you, you hear old men grumbling about portents. An owl shrieked at dawn. A slave claimed to see lightning from a clear sky. The soothsayer Spurina warned Caesar to beware this day. Yet there he comes, Julius Caesar, striding across the open steps in his crimson-bordered toga, wreathed with laurels, flanked by senators in white. He walks like a man who fears nothing. He does not even glance at Spurina, who bows his head with eyes wide in horror. The people bow too, but you stand frozen. His eyes meet yours for a heartbeat. Do they? Or do you only imagine that the father of the people sees a nobody like you? A breeze lifts his toga. You catch the scent of rose oil. He is close enough you could touch the hem of his garment if you dared. You feel it, the shift, the hush.
Ow!
Rome itself holds its breath. You are not permitted inside, of course. The Curia Pompeiana is for senators, not for tradesmen's sons. So you stand beneath the arches with dozens of others. House slaves, errand boys, old veterans leaning on carved sticks. You press your ear against the cool stone, straining for voices. At first, it is just a murmur. The drone of a speech you cannot make out. You know the shape of these gatherings, flattery, envy, old grudges wrapped in polite words. You imagine Caesar sits high upon his curule chair, fingers drumming the armrest, eyes bored with the parade of petty fears. But then the murmurs grow sharp. You hear a voice raised. Was that Cassius? His name drips from gossip like poison. Someone else? Brutus? You have heard the rumors, that Caesar loves him like a son, that Brutus wavers like a branch in wind. He is no wolf. Something shatters. A cry, a chair knocked over, you step back from the wall, your palms cold and damp, or others press close, eyes darting like birds. Did you hear a woman hisses? They are pressing him. Pressing him for what? You whisper. Her mouth trembles. She does not answer. A scream breaks through the stone. Not a cry of anger, but pain. Sharp. Wet. You hear it in your bones. You push forward until you see through the archway. The senators swarm Cesar like bees drunk on blood. Cloaks fly back like wings. Blades flash, not swords, but small daggers, short enough to hide within the folds of a toga. Cesar is standing. No, stumbling. A man you once saw as a god is nothing more than flesh now, his white robe blooming red roses of blood. He tries to speak. His mouth opens, but only a bubble of red forms at his lips. You see Cassius's face, twisted with fury and triumph. You see Brutus, oh God's Brutus, pressing his dagger into Caesar's side, eyes glassy with tears. The father of the people grips Brutus's arm, his mouth forming words you cannot hear, but know in every bone of your body. Et2, brute. Even you, Brutus. Then the light leaves his eyes. You drop him onto the marble floor. Your Caesar, your champion, sprawled like a slaughtered bull in the curia built by his rival Pompey, dead beneath the statue of Pompey's likeness. The irony is too cruel to speak. Blood pools at the marble steps, dark as wine. The senators stand over him, breathless. Some hold bloody blades. Some look away, trembling. None kneel, none weep. The father of the people has fallen, and already they look like children who have shattered the lamp that once warmed them. Outside, a hush ripples through the crowd. You stagger back, the world spinning. Around you, men and women drop to their knees, some in prayers, some to press their palms into the bloody footprints that trail from the curious door. An old veteran spits into the dust. He was a tyrant. A slave girl beside you whispers, "He was our hope." You cannot speak. You feel something inside you. Crack, like a dry branch snapping beneath a careless foot. They will say this was justice, that the Republic lives again, that Rome breathes free. But you know what you have seen? Not the death of a tyrant, but the birth of 1,000 knives. Without Caesar, who holds back the chaos, who feeds the poor when the grain ships fail, who stops the generals from tearing Rome apart like wolves fighting over scraps. You taste iron on your tongue. Your hands are fists. You want to scream, but your voice is buried beneath the weight of marble and history. The senators flee the curia, still clutching their blades. Abun, some have thrown down their daggers and weep, horror-stricken by what they have done. Others raise their bloodied hands to the sky, calling themselves liberators. Liberators. Liberators of whom? Word flies through the forum faster than the March winds. Caesar is dead. Some cheer, some wail. Some run for their homes, fearing what comes next. The sky bruises with clouds, as if the gods themselves are in mourning. You wander through the crowd like a ghost, your eyes fixed on the Senate House door. You see them carry out Caesar's body on a litter, once wrapped in silk, now soaked through, his face half covered, his limbs dangling like those of a broken doll. The streets that once echoed with his triumphs now taste his blood. Stones beneath your feet feel unsteady, as though Rome itself trembles at the thought of what it has done. A woman presses her child into her breast and sobs. What happens now? Who will feed us? No one answers her. That night, you stand among thousands at the field of Mars, where they lay his body for the funeral. Mark Antony, his loyal friend, steps up beside the bier. His voice is hoarse with grief and rage. He lifts Caesar's robe, the one stabbed through so many times that it flutters like torn sails. He shows the wounds, hole after hole, ragged and red. He points toward the Senate House with an arm that trembles. They called him king, he cries. But who wears the crown now? Who feeds the orphans he fed? Who guards the gates of Rome while the wolves circle? Torches catch. The flames rise. Feel the heat on your face as they burn Caesar's body on a pyre high enough to touch the stars. Sparks swirl up into the darkness, carrying his ashes toward the gods who did nothing to save him. The people howl for revenge. Men rip benches from the forum, drag them to the pyre. Women tear their hair, wailing his name. Children clutch scraps of his robe as talismans. The liberators, Cassius, Brutus, all the rest, flee into the night. They thought they freed Rome, but they only unchained its fury. You stand there, staring into the flames, your face hot, your eyes dry. You whispered the words your father taught you as a boy, Senatus Populus Romanus, the Senate and the people of Rome. But now you know, the people will not forget this day, nor will you. In the weeks that follow, you see how quickly hope turns to vengeance. Civil war boils up like poison from a wound. Antony calls the people to arms. Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir, returns from the east, just a boy, barely older than you, yet already hungry for power. Friends turn on friends. The streets run red. You carry your mother's baskets to the grain market with a knife hidden at your side. You hear new names spoken in the taverns, prescriptions, blacklists, executions in the forum, and all the while you remember the moment when steel sank into Caesar's flesh. You see Brutus's tears. You see Cassius's sneer. You see Rome break like pottery dropped on marble. Sometimes in the deep hours of the night, you wish you could go back. Grab his arm, warn him, cry out, "Do not go into the Curia today." But the past is stone. You cannot change its shape. Years will pass. The Republic will die in all but name. Augustus will stand where Caesar fell, cloaked in titles no king could claim, but ruling like a god. Statues will rise. Coins will be struck. You will tell your grandchildren, if you live so long, that you were there, you saw it the day Rome turned on itself. And in quiet moments when the streets lie still and the forum's shadows grow long, you will feel the eyes of the marble Caesars on you. You will stand at the spot where his blood darkened the steps, a stain that never truly fades. You will remember how the blades flashed, how the father of the people fell, how Rome cheered and wept in the same breath. And in the silence of your own heart, you will ask the question that never leaves you. Et2, even you, the end. Were there, you saw him fall, and you carried the wound forever.